So for those of you folks that are interested in taking some CE courses, here is, can you guys see that? Joe, Dr. Joe, can you see that?
I can see it, yes.
Awesome. Okay. So it's aspendentalce.com/welcome is our portal for unlimited CE courses. All of our students can take advantage of this, and these are free through March 2021. So for those folks that have already jumped on, do take advantage of this. It's an awesome opportunity to take some CE classes. All right, so we are going to get started, and I'll put this back up here shortly, guys. As soon as we're done, I'll put that back up. Can you see my awesome face again?
Beautiful.
Love it. Okay, we're going to get started. So whoever hasn't jumped on yet, all good. You guys can jump on as we go. So we have quite a few questions that you guys have submitted, so I would love to get started. Really quick, I will introduce myself, and I'll have my lovely guest introduce himself as well. My name is Rebecca Mazer. I am a senior manager with the academic and industry relations team at Aspen Dental. So we're part of the talent acquisition team. We host, past tense, I guess, right? Pre-COVID, host all of the lunch and learns, happy hours. We host open houses in our offices. We make it possible for you guys to get to know some of our doctors, to learn more about Aspen, so that you can learn more about opportunities and stuff that we have, which is awesome. Hopefully sooner than later, we'll be able to go back to those in-person events. In the meantime, we still want to give you guys access to our doctors, and we still want to be able to answer those questions for you guys. So today we're hosting a 1-hour webinar with my lovely guest. And this will give you guys an opportunity to ask whatever questions you guys have about Aspen, how Dr. Joe's career path has gone thus far, you know, what made him choose Aspen, how he's doing. You guys, literally no questions are off limits. So please, please ask those questions. There is a little chat box right at the bottom. You guys can click on that. You can submit any question you want. It'll pop up on my end and I can pose it live to Dr. Joe. So you're going to kind of see me going back and forth because I have tons of questions that you guys submitted on this side. And then my camera's over here. So I'm going to just kind of be going back and forth. I feel like such an influencer right now, right? Not.
You're working, you need a ring light.
I have a ring light because it's really dark in my little cave of an office. So I had to get a ring light. Per my director was like, you should get a ring light because you look very yellow. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I recently got one too. Okay, guys, so we're going to get started. Thank you guys so much for joining. We have quite a bit of folks that have jumped on, and to make this fun too, we're going to raffle off 2 Amazon gift cards at the end of the session. I will have you guys, so all you guys are on now, you better stay on because this is going to be at the end. I'm going to have you pick a number between 1 and 20, and then Dr. Joe will pick a number, and those that are the closest, or if you pick that same number, will win our Amazon gift cards. Cool. Let's get started. All right, Dr. Joe, introduce yourself. Tell us what office you're at and give us a fun fact, and then we'll get started.
All right. Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, I can't see your faces. So I'm just talking to Becca here. I am now Dr. Joe Marsek. You all, the artist previously known as Joey. I have been working for Aspen Dental for 4 weeks now. Currently in an office in Homewood. I know one of you is from there. Shout out to Kate. I don't know if she's on here. I've been in Homewood for the past couple weeks, and they are opening an office in Antioch on November 19th, and then I'm going to transfer there. So I'm going to be close to the Wisconsin border for a little bit. Right out of school, as everyone knows, that was in the throes of COVID. I graduated and we all celebrated, and I started working a private practice, which was kind of my initial goals. Leaving dental school, I wanted to go into private practice, and I did. And it's a little more of a cutthroat world than you'd think. Got keep the patients. If the patients don't show up, you don't get paid. And I was basically working as a hygienist for a couple of weeks and I wasn't happy. So I left and I was looking for a job, and Aspen reached out to me and I started talking, and the people here are honestly so friendly and so inviting. And started talking to a recruiter named Erica. She's awesome. And they won me over and here I am now. I never
love
thought I would
that.
be, yeah, I never thought I'd be at an Aspen Dental, but the way that they treat patients here is kind of the way that we are taught to at school. And I do feel like SIU has really geared me up to do this job. The patient base is kind of the same as in Alton. A lot of dentures, guys. A lot of dentures.
Dr. Joe, I had no idea that you started off at a private practice. So we will
Yeah.
get to that. That is, that's news to me. So I love that you just brought that up. But really quick, guys, Saida, thank you so much for helping me set this up. First and foremost, I love you. Second off, you guys, if you have a question, pop it into the Q&A box. That way it pops up on my screen. Don't put it in the chat because then it gets kind of lost. But I did see the question that you did submit. So we'll get to that question really quick. But before we get started with questions, I want to make sure everybody knows who Aspen is, right? And what we do, and just a little bit of our story. So I'll make it quick. So for those of you that don't know, we might have some underclassmen on here that haven't been to any of our cool events. So Aspen Dental is the largest branded DSO in the country. We are actually pushing almost 900 offices. And we are probably in about 42 states right now, which is awesome. We are a little different than your typical DSO because all of our offices are individually owned by practitioners. So Aspen Dental basically is a built-in consultant, if you will, right? We do all your, we support our doctors in any way. So Dr. Joe, if he decides to go into ownership, we at ADMI, Aspen Dental Management is who I work for. We are gonna be his partner, we're gonna support him. We will help with HR, we will help with marketing, we're gonna bring in the patients. We basically do everything that is not clinical. Okay, so that's my little spiel about Aspen Dental. And then we're going to talk about the differences. So if you guys have questions about any differences between us and other DSOs, I've worked for another DSO, so I can kind of touch on that. And then Dr. Joe has worked in a private practice, which I think is phenomenal because I didn't even know that. So you kind of have the best of both worlds because you can attest to both of those, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so let's get started with the first question. Which popped up in my chat. You guys, again, use your Q&A box at the bottom. That way it pops up and I have another question that just popped up. Awesome. So first question to Dr. Joe, when did you start thinking about where you wanted to work after dental school? And how did SIU support you in your job search? It's a great question.
So I'm from the Chicago suburbs and I've always known I wanted to come back here and live in Chicago. I've never lived in the city. I went to undergrad in Champaign and then I moved straight to Alton after that. So I knew I wanted to come back up here. So it was all a matter of finding a place that was going to work for me and work with me. SIU, as far as that part of the question, I didn't really ask for any help from SIU, so I'm not sure that I can give a good answer on that. But I'm sure that locally, if you're trying to stay in Southern Illinois, that they would be more than happy to help. You know how they are there. They care about us. Now,
do you feel like, and I'm going to pose this question because I'm not sure if this is what she meant. Do you feel that your curriculum and all your clinical work and everything did at SIU, did that prepare you for the real world?
Okay, I think I misunderstood the question.
No, you're fine. I'm just posing this question because I think it might be going in that direction.
Yeah, yes, I think it did. I think that we learn a lot more than we realize we're learning, and the experience that you guys are getting in the clinic. I'm talking to some other dentists now that I've met through Aspen and through other ways, meeting friends, dental school colleagues of my other dental friends, I've just lost my train of thought. Holy smokes.
Do
Um,
you feel like SIU
yeah,
has provided
we
enough?
got a lot more patient experience than a lot of people I have talked to, is where I was trying to go with that long-winded response. Yes, I do feel like SIU prepared me. There are still things to learn. There's still experience. Luckily, I'm in a office in Homewood right now, and the practice owner has been working with me, and he's teaching me surgical extractions, and he's really good with dentures, and I'm getting a lot of experience, and you see such a high volume of patients. I wouldn't worry too much. You guys are getting a good education.
Awesome. Okay. So now if you have a follow-up question for that, or if we didn't answer that in the way you wanted it, then please ask again, just because I wasn't sure if that was the route you were going. So next question, you guys are awesome because they keep popping up. What are some of the pros and cons of private practice versus Aspen? So talk to us about your experience at private practice and then when you joined us.
Yeah. So initially I was supposed to be at a private practice in Schaumburg, and the owner had promised me at least 2 days a week work there as a dentist. That was, we were negotiating kind of before COVID went down. I think that changed a lot of things too. But basically I ended up just doing hygiene 4 days a week. I wasn't seeing any patients for dental work. And when we sat down and talked about it, I was looking at the schedule, and she wasn't getting any new patients, like maybe one new patient a day. And what I have found working with Aspen is it is crucial to have new patients coming through the door, because that's the way that you're going to get work. That's the way that you're going to get experience and become a better dentist, especially right out of school, getting your speed up. I had a realistic talk with her, and she said she didn't even know if she's going to have any patients for me in the fall. So I said I can't, be doing hygiene anymore. I need to work on my dental skills. So I left,
Wow.
and now I'm at Aspen, and I'm seeing over like 20 patients a day, and I never thought I could do it. Seriously, seems so daunting the first couple of days, looking at the schedule, looking at what other docs are doing, and now I'm doing it, and it's only been a couple of weeks. So
That's awesome.
a lot. Yeah, it's been.
That Dr. Joe, did you when you took that job, did you take that job to go part-time, or were you just working part-time because
Yes.
you have the work for you?
I took the job to do part-time, and I was going to supplement it with another office. I had been talking to a couple other offices, but then things crumbled with her, and then I was looking for another part-time job. And a lot of private practices want you to have a year of experience outside of school before they hire you, and nobody's really willing to give you that year. And I think that's a shame, because the only way to get better is to start doing it and getting in there. So Aspen is
Right.
affording me that opportunity.
Okay. So when you first started at the private practice, you jumped on with the knowledge that you were going to be working 2 days a week and seeing patients, getting experience.
Yes, 2 days a week dental, filled dental schedule.
And then you just got stuck doing hygiene. Did they not have a hygienist? Or were you
They
doing your
no,
own
they
hygiene from the
but
get-go?
she had one other hygienist that would come only on Thursdays. Sorry,
Bring your puppy in, Dr. Joe. I know you have a cute dog. Let him or her say hi.
he just came into the room.
Hi
Some
there.
of you have met my little Archie. I haven't seen him in 2 days because I've been in a hotel.
Hi, Archie. Okay. I knew there was a puppy that wanted to say hi.
He's been bugging me.
I love it. Okay.
So she had another hygienist, but she was only coming 1 day a week, and she could not find anybody. So right now there's actually a pretty big hygiene shortage, and dental assistants. I know that we're still looking for our dental assistants in Antioch, because people keep saying they're going to show up to the interviews and then just ghosting us. So
Wow. Okay. So that's crazy, because I have, excuse me, I have a lot of doctors that were supposed to start with Aspen, or that were interviewing with us, ended up going to private practice and end up coming back.
yeah.
Things fell through, or the private practice closed, or they're not seeing enough patients. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, we don't have a shortage of patients.
Oh God, no. Oh my God. Sometimes I wish there was a little bit less, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
we definitely don't have a shortage of patients. We have a whole marketing team that works on getting us new patients, right? We have a whole team dedicated on doing your recalls and getting our patients through the door. So we are very different than your private practice because we have a whole team that's dedicated to making sure that we have patients coming through that door every single day. So I'm glad that you touched on that. So let's grab another question. This one is, how long is the contract length for Aspen? I can answer that. We don't have contracts, guys. I know we're very different than your typical DSO because we do not have any contracts. Now, what that means is our letter of agreement. So when Dr. Joe decided to come on board with us, he signed a letter of agreement saying that he's going to agree to work for us. These are his hours. This is what he's going to get paid. But there's no contractual obligation to stay with Aspen for any amount of time. And there's also no restrictive covenants. There's no non-competes and things like that. We are very much in the space, or I don't even know what you want to call it, but like, we believe that if you're happy, you're going to stay, right? If you're not happy, why would we force you to stay for a year? Like, that's just going to make your life terrible. That's going to make your work-life balance terrible. That's going to, the culture of the office is going to shift. Like, we want you to be happy. And if you're not happy with us, we would rather you find something that's going to suit you, because at the end of the day, Aspen's not for everybody and private practice is not for everybody, you know, and so you need to find something that's going to be the right fit for you. So we have no contract length. Now, we do ask that if you decide that you're not happy with us, that you give us a 90-day notice. That way we can find someone to take your place. That is just professional courtesy. But if we find someone, if we hire someone to take your position, then we will let you out sooner. So there's no contractual obligation. Now, keep in mind, a lot of DSOs do have contracts. So please, please, please read your letter of agreement to make sure it doesn't say this is a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract or whatever the case is. Okay, so there's that answer. You guys are killing it with the questions tonight. I love it. There's quite a few. Okay, so next question is, do you believe that being a student during COVID negatively impacted your resume when applying for a job? That's a great question. Now, do you feel you were wrapping up during COVID, when COVID hit, right? March?
Yeah, we didn't get a graduation or anything like that.
Oh.
It was virtual.
Oh.
I don't even think
weird right now. Do you feel like that impacted you in any way when it was time to find a job?
No, in the regard that it was kind of so little of my education overall. It was only like 8 weeks and I was pretty much done with my requirements at that point. But as far as the job, I don't think COVID affected them looking at me. I think it affected them being able to hire people because patients aren't coming in as much because they're scared to go to the dentist because of all this. So I think that it has been tougher to find a job, but I think you could say that about like almost everybody, except maybe if you like work in like corporate health insurance.
Right. Now, I think that's a great question. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I work with a lot of different students, right, from different dental schools, and a lot of them are nervous about whether they are getting enough clinic time, whether they're seeing enough patients to prepare them for the real world. I had a couple students that say, I'm thinking about going into a GPR because I think I need more experience. I'm going to tell you guys now that you will see more patients, a more variety of patients, even with COVID, if you come work for Aspen. Do you feel like that's the truth, Dr. Joe? Are you seeing a variety of cases, a variety of patients now, even while we're in COVID?
Yes, but a lot of our patients at Aspen are people who haven't been in the dentist in a long time because you can come in for an exam for a lot of states it's free, but in Illinois it's not, of course, because it's Illinois.
Right.
It's so incredibly cheap that we're seeing so many people. Today I've had 5 patients tell me they haven't been to the dentist in like 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
So in that regard, I think there's a lot of those kind of patients, but there is the occasional, patient who does take care of the teeth and they're here for more cosmetic reasons, and that's fun too. So you do get, with so many patients, you get You
A
get both.
variety of, well, now, like, and I'm also, I think it really depends on where you're at, right? Like your
Yeah.
location, your office is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we see a variety of different patients, but a lot of them are the blue collar worker that hasn't been to the dentist in a while. But because we're also bringing in so much new technology, like implants and Invisalign, our patient base is starting to shift a little bit. So I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of just kind of a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
Now, one of the questions that did pop up was, did you find it easy or hard to find mentorship with Aspen? Did you have a mentor?
Yeah, so right now, I mentioned I'm kind of studying under the private practice owner, the POP of the Homewood office. He owns a couple other ones. And it is incredibly easy to find mentorship at Aspen. Like everyone is available at your fingertips to get you whatever you need. I think that's one of the best parts for me. But right now, I don't have to worry about any of the other stuff, and I can focus on dentistry, and I can focus on becoming a better dentist, not like having to worry about, necessarily the business end of it, or having to worry about, making sure there's enough supplies in the office or whatever. It's been really nice, and our regional manager, the one I have, is great, at least, and
Who's
she's
your regional?
Jen Cass.
Oh, I love Jen.
I know she has been an angel. I text her.
She's actually the director now.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
work
she's
well.
fantastic.
Yes.
So that's a great question, guys, because when you join Aspen, you get 4 weeks of mentorship. Okay, so we will pair you with the mentor, whether it's the owner of the office. So Dr. Joe, you are lucky enough that your mentor is the owner,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Schaefer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
guys, when we say POP, that just means practice owner. So his POP, practice owner, is Dr. Schaefer, who owns a couple practices, and he's currently mentoring you for 4 weeks. So when you come on board, you can work alongside your mentor. You can kind of hone in on your skill set, kind of figure out your timing, how long it takes for you to do certain procedures. And then when you're ready to kind of go on your own, you go on your own. But you definitely have a slew of mentors within your office and throughout the whole organization. We have 1,200 dentists within our network. And pre-COVID and hopefully post-COVID, we'll kind of go back to the way things were before, where we were hosting really awesome networking events. We have a whole development center here, doctor development program in Chicago, where hopefully Dr. Joe, once things are kind of back to normal,
One day.
hopefully you'll come to Chicago and you'll do it's like our EDGE program, our doctor development program. It's a week long, and it's with like 40 new dentists, and you learn the business, you learn Invisalign. It's a really, really cool opportunity for you to make friends and to network. So mentorship is huge, guys. We're very passionate about making sure that you have a mentor and that you are, just honing in on your skills and getting better every day. Now, Dr. Joe, do you feel like the procedures and the stuff that you're doing, are you comfortable doing that? I mean, you have full autonomy. Do you ever feel like there's anything that you're doing that you don't feel comfortable doing? Can you speak up about not feeling comfortable? How do you feel?
Yeah. It's easy to be apprehensive because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a teacher looking over my shoulder anymore. But you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You can have another doctor do it. There's plenty of other doctors that can do it. More than likely you won't be the only one at the office when you start out as an associate. There's going to be someone above you who can take care of it, someone who's going to be there in case you run into trouble or something. That is one of the things I'm really looking forward to when I move to Antioch. I'm going to have someone there so I can get bolder with my procedures, but have somebody behind me that's ready to jump in if something gets too difficult. Really, like molar endo is something that I really knew I didn't want to do, and Aspen was totally okay with referring that out to an endodontist. Even premolars, if it's calcified or if there's too tricky roots. I have felt pretty comfortable with what's been going on.
Good. Now, you guys have full autonomy. Now, if there's ever a time where, Dr. Joe, you have a patient and you're like, you know what, this is kind of too difficult. I don't feel comfortable. Like you said, a molar endo. We want you to speak up and say, hey, you know what, this is not something that I want to do, or I don't feel comfortable doing this, but I need the practice. Is it cool if I do it? But will you be here to bail me out just in case?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we want you to be as comfortable as possible. And you
So,
what's been happening?
yeah, like, so this week, Dr. Schaefer, the practice owner, actually had to go to his other practices because another doctor had to be away for a couple of days, as an emergency. So I've been alone at the office, and I have canceled a couple of extractions that he was going to do because I knew that I shouldn't be doing that alone at the office. It's for the, for the best of the patient. So totally okay, just reschedule. And the patients are usually very nice about everything. They understand. They don't want me doing it if I don't feel comfortable doing it. So
Awesome. That's good. And at the end of the day, guys, it's your license, right? Like, we
mhm.
don't want you doing anything that you're not comfortable doing. And but if you do feel like, hey, this is going to be good practice for me, you can always do those or have those appointments on the days that we have an oral surgeon there or an endo there. So speaking of endo and oral surgeon, guys, we do have specialty. And usually it's like 1 day a month or 2 days a month, we'll have an endo come in, or we'll have an oral surgeon come in. So if there's cases that you're not comfortable doing, you can refer them out. But a lot of times you can refer them on days that the oral surgeon's going to be there and you're going to be there. So maybe you can practice, or you can kind of look over. So that's an opportunity for you to practice as well. So that's kind of nice. All right. So we have quite a few other questions. Now, this one is, did you look into any other corporate dentistry? Guys, we hate the word corporate dentistry here at Aspen. Only because we don't feel like we're corporate dentistry, because all of our offices are owned by our dentists, right? Our practitioners. So corporate dentistry is a big no-no at Aspen. So we'll say, did you look into any other DSOs when you left your private practice, such as Heartland? How did you end up reaching out to an Aspen recruiter? So did you interview with anybody else before you joined us?
No, so I didn't. I was still kind of thinking I wanted to do private practice, and I actually didn't even reach out to Aspen. Aspen reached out to me, kind of at the perfect time. But I do have a couple other of my classmates that are in corporate dentistry, and I've talked to them about their experiences. And what I really like about Aspen, this is the biggest thing, especially because loans are coming, baby. The train isn't stopping. What happens with Aspen is I get my daily draw, and even if no patients show up that day, which I just worked last Saturday and only a couple patients showed up, but I still got my daily draw. Whereas some other, I get that money. That's my money. Some other companies will take it out of your daily draw if you're not seeing enough patients to supplement the office. So you can actually make less than you think you're going to make. There is a huge security blanket at Aspen, and that was one of the big things when I was signing on. I talked to a couple of people, and I was like, that I think that's going to work for me.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. So our pay structure is very different than other DSOs, right? I worked for a DSO for a couple of years before I joined Aspen. Their pay structure was, you get your daily guarantee for 90 days, for your first 90 days. And after 90 days, that's gone. It's done with, you're only on production. So you are getting 30% of your production. Now, keep in mind, guys, when you're new, how much production do you think you're actually doing? When you're a new grad and in a private practice, how much of that do you think that the owner doctor is actually giving you? Like, really think about that. So if you're, depending on what you're producing, you're going to get 30% of that, right? So if you don't see any patients a day, you're not making any money. Or if you're seeing a handful of patients, or they only have you doing prophies all day, or a couple fillings here and there, your daily production is going to be pretty minimal. Or they pay you on collection. So it's a kind of goofy structure. So you got to really kind of pay attention and hone in on how.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it gets confusing, these DSOs and how they pay you. Now with Aspen, we're really straightforward, right? We pay you a daily guarantee always. That's never going to go away. So like Dr. Joe said, if you don't see any patients that day, if you're during your mentorship, if you're training, you still get that daily guarantee. That's your security blanket, right? That's your salary, 100%. Never going to go away. So you always have a livable wage, you have money to pay your loans, you have money to live, and then we pay you an incentive per se, a percentage of the office profit. So after you've been with us for 90 days, you can start profiting off of the office's production profit. So as an associate, it can be anywhere from 8 to 10%. Say the office makes 175,000. After all the costs, the end result is, you know, the why can't I think right now? So the profit of the office, you're going to get a percentage of that. So you can get, depending on how well the office did, you're going to get the greater of the two. So you're never going to make less than your daily guarantee, but you can make more than with the office's profit. So that's an incentive. So you're always going to have the opportunity to do really well. And those incentives are based off of our patient satisfaction. So we want to make sure that our patients are coming back, want to make sure you're treating your patients right, and you're giving, you know, quality care to those patients. So did that make sense? I hope that made sense, guys. If you have any questions about our pay structure, let me know. It can get a little confusing, but you always, always, always have a daily guarantee, always. So Dr. Joe, if you see 5 patients or if you see 20, that daily guarantee is not going anywhere, which is kind of nice.
And I think that's really prudent nowadays, especially who knows what's going on, who knows who's going to be scared to do what. I mean, I haven't seen any slowdown in Aspen patients, so that's good. New patients are crucial, but
absolutely. So if you were working at your, you know, previous private practice and you were only, so say you're making only production, but you're only doing hygiene all day, like how do you get paid?
I wasn't getting very much money.
Yeah. So, I mean, like that's hard, especially when you have student loans that are knocking on your door, right? So that's rough.
And living in Illinois ain't cheap.
Listen.
Chicago.
Yes. I live in the city. So absolutely, guys, if you're planning on staying in Illinois and Chicago, keep that in mind. Daily guarantees crucial, you know, just really read the fine print when it comes to the pay structure of whoever you're going to join, whether it's a private practice or a DSO. Okay. Now, this is a great question. Does your schedule of seeing 20 or so patients a day feel overwhelming or stressful? Because that's a big transition from only seeing 2 patients when you're in school. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I was super nervous about that, especially when, like I said, when I saw the Aspen schedule when I first started. But there's also going to be another doctor there, so it's not like you're completely by yourself. What I will say, Aspen gives you as much time as you want for the procedure. So I can sit down with my office manager and I can say, when you schedule me for a crown prep, if I'm really unsure about what's going to happen, I can say, give me 2 hours, and she'll block me out for 2 hours. Where the 20 patients come from is because Aspen sees, I think on average, 8 new patients a day. I was listening during my my orientation.
I love it.
8 new patients a day. We are at the office I'm at, since it's just opened. I started there on the first day. We're seeing about 12 to like 15 new patients a day, because we're trying to get as many people into the schedule then to start doing the work. But we got to see a high volume of them. It's really not bad. I sit in the office, I look at the x-rays before I go in there, I write down on a sticky note the things I think I want to do. And now that I have watched Dr. Schaefer do it at this office for a couple of weeks, you get to know kind of the patient base and what you think they can afford and what you think they're going to want. Where I'm at right now is a lot of extractions and partial dentures. Where I'm going, I think, is going to be a little bit different. But 20 patients a day sounds like a lot until you're only going in the room for 5 minutes to treatment plan with them. You have somebody else taking the x-rays. You have the hygienist going there doing probing depths and talking about their hygiene and what cleaning they're going to do. And then I'm already have my plan. I go in there. I tell the patient what I think. I look in their mouth, because you can't do diagnose everything on the x-ray. And then I'm done. So I think it looks a lot scarier than it actually is. And the only way to get faster and to get better and more efficient is to see this high volume of patients.
Right. And practice makes perfect, guys. The thing is, so the number 20 sounds insane, right? 20 patients, 25 patients. But in reality, a lot of those patients are recalls too, or they're coming back.
Denture adjusts.
Yeah, they're adjusting their dentures. So that takes 3 minutes. or they're here to pick up a denture or whatever the case is. Guys, every single office has a denture lab. So
Oh, so nice.
the dentures you're doing now at school are not what dentures you're going to be doing at Aspen. A lot of people call Aspen a denture mill. That is because we've perfected dentures. We have a lab in office that turns your dentures over in a couple days, in a day sometimes. So if you have a patient that comes in that has to refix or refit, anything with their dentures, you literally can take it back to the lab and say, hey, can you adjust here or here? That'll take a couple minutes, and that's one of those 20 patients, right? So it sounds overwhelming, but it goes by quickly because you have your dental assistants. How many dental assistants do you have, Dr. Joe?
4.
You have 4. Sheesh. So, I mean, they're doing most of the work for you, right? Your DA,
Oh yeah.
hygiene, they do all your x-rays. We have iTero scanners now, like they do everything. So when it's time for you to see the patient, everything's done. You come in, you look in their mouth, you chat with them, you figure out what the game plan is.
And then you don't even have to talk about finances like you guys do at school. You don't have to show them the price and sit there and watch them like realize that they can't afford this. They get taken to the office manager, and there's so many different things that they can do. They can finance, they can, apply for a care credit card, which is basically like a credit card for their dental work, and they pay it off at their own rate. And I think it's interest free for however long.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. I basically get to just be the tooth guy. I don't have to be the numbers guy. I'm not the numbers guy.
Absolutely. So guys, we have literally a person for everything. We have a consultant / office manager that'll go over treatment planning. That's going to go over the financing. So your job is to be a dentist. That's what you went to school for. So your job is to be a dentist, and that's it. If you want to be involved in the treatment planning, the finance, and the hiring, then you can be as hands-on business side or as hands-off as you want, which is kind of nice. So this is a similar question that you just answered, Dr. Joe, but they're saying, do you feel that you can devote the time that patients need in an appointment with those 20 patients a day?
Yes, I can take however long I want realistically with the patient, just because the patient, I only have 5 minutes to go on the treatment plan. I still find that I have the time to talk, to get to know the patient, to make them feel comfortable. You guys know me, I could talk to paint drying on the wall and have a great conversation. But I do feel like I can still get to know the people. We just had this cute 90-year-old veteran telling me war stories, making his new denture. Still getting experiences like that. And I did want to touch on, we were talking about the denture lab, and a lot of the D4s here know me and my experience with dentures at school. I did not like dentures. But now being at Aspen, I do a lot of dentures, but the knowledge and experience that Dr. Duncan and Dr. Steinhauer and all them have given us is going to be so beneficial to you. I have done so many denture adjusts on dentures I've never seen and made them feel better and fit for the patient. And I'm like, holy Moses, this is like, they were right. But it's been great. Seriously.
That's good. I'm so glad that you're having a good experience.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when our doctors come from private practice, because I feel like when you guys are in school, they push private practice, right? Which I get it. A lot of your professors were private practice owners for many years. So that's kind of what they know. So little do they know that Aspen's run like a private practice. The owner doctor runs his office however he wants. We are Aspen Dental Management's basically there just to help support our private practice owners. We're your consultants. We are your partner per se, your friend, to make sure that the office is running efficiently. So that's the biggest difference between us and a private practice, that you have someone to kind of lean on and help you. But everything else, Dr. Joe, if you ever move into the next level, a lead dentist, or decide to go into ownership, you're going to run that office however you want, because you're the owner of the office. Okay, cool. So we have quite a few more questions. What states is Aspen located in? Guys, we're located almost everywhere, except like 3 states. We just opened in California. So we have about 6 offices in California. We are going to be opening in Colorado this spring. Those are the two locations that we were infiltrating. And I want to say we're not in Jersey yet. We're not in New Hampshire yet. We're not in Vermont yet, but it's coming. We are the largest branded DSO in the country. And we have the largest, I think we've been around the longest as well. We've been around for about 24 years now. So I think we've kind of perfected the DSO model. But don't quote me. I want to say we're in 47 states. I'm gonna have to look that up. But guys, we're almost everywhere. So if there's a specific location you are interested in, reach out and then we can talk about those locations. All right. Next question. Does Aspen provide any continuing education opportunities?
Oh yeah. Well, we started talking about that. Maybe this asker wasn't there right in the beginning when we were talking about it.
Right.
But let me tell you, on my onboarding process, so for the 3 days, I had to do Zoom calls to kind of learn about the Aspen culture and talk about like how to treatment plan and not how to treatment plan, but kind of going over and practicing with each other and the new dentist. The CEO came on and talked to us. That was 3 days, got paid for all 3 days and got 7.5 credit hours.
Love it.
Or CE credits. Credit hours, what is this?
Yes. So CE guys, we have a whole library of CE courses and they're all free. We were just, like Dr. Joe said, right before we started, I was talking about how during COVID, we decided to open up our CE library to everyone in the country. So anybody in the dental field, students, faculty, anybody that wants to take some CE courses, they're available on our site through March 2021 and they're absolutely free. So you have an unlimited library of CE courses. We just opened a huge learning and development facility here in Chicago where you'll be doing your Invisalign training. Hopefully, Dr. Joe, you'll get through that. You'll get your Invisalign training. We're doing implant certifications. We have a slew of different CE courses. I don't know if you've heard, but we're going to start offering Botox and fillers. That's going to be coming up, which is awesome. So there's tons and tons of opportunities for CE courses, guys. They're free. And if there's ever a course that you want to take that's not free, just ask the owner and just say, hey, you know what, there's this course that I would love to take. What are your thoughts? I think it would help benefit the office. Would you cover it? Would you mind covering half? 90% of the time, they're going to say yes, especially if it's going to make you a better practitioner. It's going to better the office. That's usually how that works. So don't hesitate to ask. And I'm sure, Dr. Joe, there's a million CE courses that you can take. I mean, I don't know if you have the world to even get.
I'm not ready yet. Yeah. I'm holding off on that. Still get my feet wet here.
So many courses. So yeah, you'll have tons of those, guys. Awesome. So this question is, how much is a daily guarantee? Now, that's really going to depend on your location. I want to say it ranges anywhere from $550 to $700, depending on your location. So, obviously, depending on where you are, there's going to be just different types of incentives that come with your offer letter. Now, places like Chicago, places like Miami, Houston, LA, San Francisco, places that are metro, we have a slew of candidates, guys. So places like that aren't usually going to have a really high daily guarantee or a huge sign-on bonus or a huge relocation bonus or student loan reimbursement, things like that, because we have an abundance of candidates for these areas. But if you are open to going somewhere that's a little bit harder to fill or a location that's considered a little bit more rural, that's when you can start negotiating your offer letter, asking for incentives, or they start offering you incentives. So we have tons of opportunities that have student loan reimbursement, but those are definitely going to be harder to fill areas. Okay. Did you get anything fun, crazy with your offer letter?
Like bonus?
Incentive wise?
No. The daily rate that they're giving me is pretty good.
Awesome.
So I think that was the incentive.
Okay, good. And you're going to Antioch, which is still considered Chicago Metro.
Mm-hmm.
if you are going to go somewhere further out, I know that Southern Illinois, for those of you that live in Southern Illinois and want to stay in Southern Illinois, I want to say there's some opportunities there for student loan reimbursement. Now, Dr. Joe, if you ever decide to transfer, because we have so many offices in this within Aspen Dental, if you ever decide to, if you move, life happens, right? If anything happens and you decide to move, you can always ask if you're going to move into a different state and just say, hey, this new office, is there an opportunity for student loan reimbursement or a sign-on bonus and things like that?
Everyone is very easily approachable and ready to work with you. They don't want to, they suffer if they lose their dentist. So, they want to keep us. They want to make us happy, and it feels good.
Amen. I'm not going to lie, guys, we're kind of cool over here. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but
I saw videos of those vibe events there's like celebrities there. I don't think that's gonna be happening right now.
So once life goes back to normal and we're able to host our events again, we appreciate our doctors. We appreciate you guys, right? So we host leadership events, like a leadership conference. We host a huge kickoff meeting, and usually we host them in these fun locations. Like last year was in Miami. We had, who's the Saved by the Bell guy? Slater. What's his name?
Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez. He was our host. So he hosted our award ceremony.
Oh.
We had a big vibe here in Chicago. 2 years ago, we had DJ Khaled was our guest DJ. So we do really, really fun things. That's the culture that we have. And we do it because we appreciate our doctors, and we invite our doctors to all these things. So I mean, I've never worked for a company that put so much into their doctors, and I love it. I've been here for 3 years, and I stand by that. So hopefully, Dr. Joe, I see you in some of these awesome events. And again, once life gets back to normal, I'm going to drag you to all my SIU events so we can.
Let's do it.
Yes, we'll be hosting some happy hours and all sorts of good stuff in person. Okay. So we have quite a few. So those were the questions that came in live, guys. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to pop those in. We still have quite a few questions that were submitted through our forum when you guys signed up for this event. So let's get to some of those. Let's see here. So this is a good one. Did the stress of going through dental school ever seem too overwhelming and make you question your decision to pursue this career path? If so, were you able to overcome this? And what pushed you to keep going? Did you ever feel super stressed out with dental school? Did it make you question your career path?
Yeah, who isn't stressed out by dental school? Guys, honestly, I feel like I don't even remember like the stress, because it's like it was so much that my body has just like shut it somewhere up deep in the recesses of my brain, or expunged it. So yeah, there were a couple of times. I think end of second year was my most stressful time, and I had a couple of practicals I had to retake, and I had convinced myself that I was going to have to repeat second year, and at that point I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it again. I'm never going to do it. But okay, my parents always shared this motto with me, and I've say it to myself all the time, that this too shall pass. Stressful time will pass, and you'll get like to the greener side of the valley. Seriously, it's a coming, and it's stressful, but stick with it. Have I questioned
your career path?
Yeah, have I questioned whether I want to be a dentist? Not since becoming one. It's going to work, and like once you start working on people, the time flies by. It doesn't even feel like you're working. You're seeing people, you're talking to people, you're getting to do cool stuff. Now if I could go back and tell the 18-year-old Joey, I'd say don't do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. But now that I'm here, I'm so glad I'm here, and I'm so glad I did it, and I'm so glad that I went through it. So
good. I'm glad. And I feel like you have a special story, because you were able to try a private practice and say, hey, I did this. Mm-hmm. You were able to join us, and now you're happy. And I think it's awesome.
It's and a lot of the happiness comes from just, I guess, the stability, and a lot of my anxiety this summer when I was at the private practice was from the unknown, and not feeling like I was told straight up what was going to be happening.
Right.
So that's been nice with Aspen. They let me
We
know.
love stability over here. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Okay, so a couple more questions, guys. We have about 10 more minutes. So if there's anything that you want to ask, please don't hesitate to ask. We want to be as super transparent as possible. And then right before we jump off, we'll do the quick raffle. We'll have Dr. Joe pick 2 numbers, and then we'll raffle off some gift cards. So the next question, guys, is how long did it take you to transition your speed once you started working after dental school? That's a good one.
I'm still
You're still transitioning your speed.
I'm still transitioning my speed, guys. I did crown prep today. It took me an hour from start to finish. It's not the prepping. This is the thing. It's not the crown prep that takes a long time, which I learned. It's making that damn temp and taking the impression. Well, they do have iTero scanners though, which are really nice. They're like Cyrix are a little bit, the head's a little bit bigger, but they are like magic. It is like, I think it is captures the tooth better than the Cyrix does. So my skills are still going, but I do feel every day I feel a little bit more confident. I'm thinking about the steps before they come instead of after they're supposed to have happened. So it's been good. I'm
Good.
really lucky to be in an office where I'm able to do stuff, to do what I want to do.
Absolutely. And guys, like, we want you to get better every day, right? Like, we want you to feel confident. We want you to build those skills. So at any point in time, if you're like, hey, I need to take a step back, like, that's okay. You're human, and we are all about you're a new graduate. We respect that you're still learning. So when you come on board with us, don't ever feel like you can't say, hey, I can't do that. Like, that's totally okay. And I'm pretty sure, Dr. Joe, you've said a couple times, I can't do that, or I don't feel comfortable doing that. Awesome.
Yep.
So this is a good question. What is the best part about working with Aspen? And on the other hand, what is your least favorite thing? Let's be honest.
Okay, so my favorite thing I think is not having to worry about any of the other stuff and just having to worry about being a better dentist, getting experience, and becoming a better dentist. Even just like treatment planning experience, a lot of new patients, getting better at it. That's one of the things that's like scary about private practice. Like, you're expected to see those patients for the rest of their life. If you make them, unhappy, they are going to drop you like a fly and find somewhere else. Whereas patients at Aspen, they'll go to another Aspen. They like being at Aspen. Least favorite part. Sometimes I think where I'm at right now, the patient base doesn't have a lot of insurance, so it's really hard to treatment plan things that that they need and that that they're not going to be able to afford. And it's sad to see them walk out the door and literally not be able to help them at all because they get double declined for the financing options. That's probably the worst part is feeling like you can't do more. But there's only so much you can do, and you guys know that. You have to work with Medicaid at SIU. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, like, that's hard because we don't take any Medicaid, and we don't take any state assistance and state insurance. So we take every single insurance, and we offer tons of different opportunities for financing. But if they can't get financing, or if they can't pay for their procedure, like, what do you do, right? It's kind of heartbreaking. Yeah. Oh, that stinks. But I understand that. That just means you have a heart.
Well, more of a heart than a pen, man.
All right. So this question is there anything you wish you would have known while you were looking for a job before you started working?
Moderator, may I please have the question again?
Yes. Is there anything you wish you would have known while you were looking for a job before you started working? Is there anything you wish you would have known before? Whoever asked this question, if you want to rephrase it in any way that we.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good answer. Do you mean like I'm gonna go ahead and answer it like
answer it however you feel fit.
If I could give myself a piece of advice as a working man now, it would be to not to stress so much, because it's gonna happen. This too shall pass. And, you know, at the end of the day, you are a dentist and it is going to be okay. I was unemployed for a couple of weeks. I was lucky enough to be able, I'm living at home with my parents right now and it's amazing. But they can hear me too. So I don't care. I don't even care. I don't care.
Love it.
But don't be stressed and just, you know, talk to everyone that you can and compare. Try to get as many options as you can, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be happy or you don't want to be unhappy where you are. You're also interviewing them. You need to make sure it's going to work for you because you worked so hard to get here, to graduate, to become a dentist. You deserve to be happy where you're working and not feeling like going to work every day is a burden.
I love that. I love that. So what I took away from that was, guys, do as much research as you can. Interview with as many people as you can. I'm part of the recruiting team and I tell all of my students that I work with is, have you interviewed with anybody else? Are you talking to any other DSOs? Are you talking to private practice? Figure out who you vibe with. Figure out which owner you get along with the most. Like, because at the end of the day, like, you guys, you are the pick of the litter, right? Like, you can pick and choose who you want to work for. That's the truth. Like, we, as a DSO and as private practices, we're fighting for you guys. So you guys have the opportunity to find your home and to make sure you're 100% happy. So definitely do what Dr. Joe said and interview, read as many offer letters, get in front of as many owners, because you want to be happy and you want to find the place that you're going to call home, and you're going to wake up every day and be happy when you go to work. I love that. Okay, this question is, does Aspen offer any tuition reimbursement opportunities for dental students who work for Aspen? Absolutely. Absolutely. We talked about this just a little while ago, guys. We have tons of offices that offer tuition reimbursement, but again, those locations and those offices are not going to be your pick of the litter, sexy offices in downtown Chicago or in Miami or in, you know, where all these sexy places are, Phoenix. You know, your metro area, metro cities are going to have an abundance of candidates, right? There's going to be so many students that want to be in these big cities. So we're not going to offer student loan reimbursement for those locations because we have 100 students that want to be there. But for areas that we do have a hard time filling, we jokingly say this all the time, Bemidji. I don't even know where Bemidji is. Does anybody know where Bemidji is? If you know where Bemidji is without Googling it, and you can answer it right now in the Q&A, I'll give you a $10 gift card. Do not Google it, you have 10 seconds. Bemidji. We all have a location in Bemidji.
What the hell's Bemidji?
Still in Bemidji, right? So a place like Bemidji is gonna have a student loan reimbursement. Anybody? Nobody knows where Bemidji is. Okay. Everybody lost that $10 card.
Because they can't Google it, because who knows how that's even spelled.
Bemidji. So nobody won that $10 gift card. Fantastic. I saved myself $10. I'm going to have to Google Bemidji, but we have a location in Bemidji. Dr. Joe, are you Googling it?
I don't know how to spell it.
Sound it out. So Bemidji is always going to have a student loan reimbursement because we have a hard time filling that place. Maybe Wisconsin, maybe Michigan.
Minnesota.
Okay. Bemidji, Minnesota, guys. If you graduate and decide you want to go to Bemidji, Minnesota, you're going to have student loan reimbursement. Okay. Some locations in Sioux Falls, right? Like Fargo, places that are like not as sexy as Chicago are going to have opportunity for student loan. Now, whether that's 25,000, 100,000, we have some really awesome opportunities with student loan reimbursement. But when you do take on an opportunity that offers you student loan, there may be a contract. Okay, guys. So that's the only time that an owner may say, hey, I will give you $100,000 to come work for me in Bemidji, Minnesota, but you have to stay for 2 years. That's how it's going to, in the 2 years, I will give you $100,000 towards your student loans. So that might be the only time that they will say it is a contract. If you break that contract, if you're not happy, you decide to pull out, typically you get, whatever amount that you earn for the time that you were there. So we're never going to say, sorry, you left, you're not getting your student loan reimbursement. So, but yes, there's definitely student loan reimbursement. Okay, we have time for one more question, guys. Let's see here. Let's see, which question do we ask?
How did you get so attractive, Dr. Joe? What did you do? Well, let me tell you, friends.
Dr. Joe, that's a fantastic question. I love that. So we're gonna ask this one because hopefully you'll get on this path. If I start as an associate, how quickly can I become a lead dentist and or an owner with Aspen Dental? Do you know that answer, Dr. Joe?
Yes. So it sucks that this is the answer, but it depends. It depends on if there's a new office opening and they're looking for somebody to kind of fill in that role, or if you're trying to move to a new state and they don't know you, probably not going to start you off like as a role. So I would say within 3 months you can move to what's called an MCD, which is like it's a managing clinical director. You're kind of the head honcho at the office, and you get final say and everything. I think around 3 months, as long as you're showing competency, as long as you're showing at Aspen, they value getting patients to say yes. As long as, if you're really good at getting in there and getting patients to agree to a treatment plan and get in fast and do the things you need to do, then you can fast track to a lead position, and they make more from the office at the end of the month. And I think possibly have higher daily rates. I'm not too sure about that though.
Yes, I love that. Great answer, guys. You can go from an associate to a lead dentist literally in no time. It really depends on your drive, your leadership capability, not necessarily your hand skills, because that's going to come with time. But if you show initiative and you show that you are wanting to take on a leadership role, that you show that you can lead an office, you will have that opportunity to move up. So a lead dentist typically runs the office. They run the office as if you're the owner. And you do have typically a higher guarantee. If not, you get a larger percentage of the office profit. So if an associate profits at 8 to 10%, a lead dentist might profit at 16 to 18% or 20% of the monthly profit. So you definitely get a bigger incentive. And then from there, your career path can move to partner to owner. So, the opportunities are endless. So Dr. Joe, if you're doing really well, you love it, things are going great in this Antioch office, you might turn around and tell Dr. Breyer, hey, I love this opportunity. I love being here. Do you have an opportunity for me to partner?
Yeah.
So there's always, or if you say, hey, I want to open up my own practice, you can the ownership folks and say, hey, where are some locations that you guys are going to be opening? I would love to talk about ownership. So possibilities are endless, guys. And with that being said, it is 8 o'clock. We hit our 1 hour. We didn't answer every single question, but we got through most of them. So if you guys have any other questions that you want to ask, please don't hesitate to shoot me a message via email or text. And right now we're going to do a quick raffle. Dr. Joe, let me see how many people are still on. Okay, I'm going to have you pick 2 numbers. Do not say them out loud. 2 numbers between 1 and 15.
Okay.
Everybody that's still on, I want you in the count of 3 to put your number between 1 and 15 in the Q&A box.
And I do not have Q&A box up.
Nope, he can't see it. So 1, 2, 3, plug in your number. You guys, I only have 4 numbers on here. You have, we have more. You have 10 seconds to put in your numbers. And we're gonna pick two winners to win an Amazon gift card, 2 Amazon gift cards, $25.
Ooh.
All right, guys. We only have 6 people that submitted their numbers. There's like 15 people on.
I hope I pick one of the numbers that's in there.
Come on. Oh, people are putting them in the chat. Come on, guys. I told you to use the Q&A box. Okay. You have 10 seconds to finish and putting in your numbers. All right. We're going to pick numbers. Hold on. Should I write these down? Give me 1 second just to make sure that I get them all. All right, guys. Dr. Joe, you're not seeing any numbers, right?
No.
Okay, we're not cheating over here, guys. All right. All right. Okay, I think we got them all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. All right, Dr. Joe, pick 2 numbers between 1 and 15.
Okay. My favorite numbers. It's gonna be, y'all know that Beyonce song, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7 twice. 7 and 11 are my
7
choice.
and 11 are your 2 numbers. Okay, we have 2 winners because 2 people picked number 7.
Hello.
Love it. Okay, so our winners are, actually, the same person put 7 twice.
No, oh, so do they get
Okay,
2?
so we have 1 winner. Okay, Adriana, you are one of our winners.
Woo!
Love it. I'm going to shoot you a $25 Amazon gift card. So we can get 1 more winner. Pick 1 more number.
11. That was mine.
No one picked 11.
7-Eleven.
No 11.
Oh.
Holla, Adriana.
3.
3. Oh my God, stop it. There's quite a few 3s on here. Okay, so Christine and Nicole, you both get an Amazon gift card. So we have 3 winners. We'll pick
Yay.
number 3. I love it. Okay, if I promised you an Amazon gift card, Adriana, Christine, and Nicole, shoot me a text or an email, and I'll send you guys a $25 Amazon gift card. All right, guys, we're done. Thank you so much for everyone that jumped on and participated. You guys are awesome. You guys had some fantastic questions. For any of you that are D4s are interested in learning more about Aspen, locations, even shadowing, do me a favor, shoot me a quick message. We can chat a little bit about some of those locations. If you guys want to connect with Dr. Joe, if you have any more questions for him, I'm assuming he would love to chat with you guys off camera too, or off the webinar, right, Dr. Joe? If anybody wants to reach out to you, you're cool with that?
Yeah, a lot of you know me. You know that I'm easily approachable, so feel free
Love
to
it.
hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you crazy kids are doing these days.
Adrienne said, it was good seeing you, Joey.
Oh, I miss you. I miss you guys. I do. I wish
love
that we
it.
would have had the last 3 months to celebrate it together and do all the fun stuff that we were supposed to do, but
I promise once COVID is under control and life is back to normal, we will start hosting some awesome events with SIU, and I'll drag you to those so you can see everybody. Cool. All right, Joey, you've been fantastic.
no problem.
Great. Thank you so much for being a great guest. And for you, thank you so much for jumping on. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Those winners, shoot me your info so I can send you a gift card. All right. Now everybody go watch the debate and everybody vote.
Vote.
Bye, guys. Have a great night. Take care.